All right, let's jump right into it. Welcome to today's Explainer. We are stepping into a pretty fascinating philosophical space today, exploring what the source text calls sersem adamın şüpheci dünyası, the skeptical world of the stubborn man. It's this really captivating allegory drawn from the 10th Word by Bediüzzaman Said Nursi. Now, if you've ever, wrestled with those massive questions about existence or universal order or personal accountability, you're going to really appreciate how logically grounded this material is. We're going to unpack an intense debate between two completely contrasting minds. Let's get started.
Section 1. Why do we believe what we cannot see?
So to really get this, we have to set the scene. The text actually grounds this high-level, abstract debate in a super relatable setting. Picture this. Two friends sitting in a noisy, crowded university canteen, right in the middle of a deep conversation. I mean, we've all been there, right? Surrounded by chaos, but completely lost in a heavy debate about life's mysteries. One friend is acting as our reliable guide, and the other? He perfectly embodies the skeptical world of the stubborn man, sersem adamın şüpheci dünyası. And right out of the gate, this skeptic drops a massive foundational question. Why should I believe in something I can't see? It's a totally raw, honest demand for empirical proof. He's not just being a contrarian for the fun of it, he represents a really deep-seated human hesitation. Basically, if we can't touch it, if we can't measure it, why accept it? That one single question, that's the engine driving this entire narrative.
It's absolutely crucial to look at how these two mindsets clash. On one side, the skeptic is just boldly declaring, "Who is the ruler? I don't recognize him." It's pure, defiant skepticism, a total rejection of any unseen authority. But then, on the other side, the reliable friend responds with calm, structured, deductive reasoning. And what's cool is that the text doesn't take sides by making one guy scream and the other whisper. Instead, it just neutrally frames it as a clash of methods. One guy is demanding immediate visual proof, while the other is basically saying, hey, let's go on a journey of logical deduction.
Section 2. Logic from a needle to the vast universe.
Okay, so the reliable friend starts taking the skeptic, and honestly taking us along for the ride too, on this intellectual journey. He starts incredibly small and builds from the ground up. He asks the skeptic to just acknowledge a few tiny, undeniable everyday truths. Step 1. Could a village exist without a headman to run it? Obviously not. Step 2. Can a simple needle be crafted without a maker, like without an artisan? Literally impossible. Step 3. Can a beautifully written letter exist without someone who actually wrote it? Again, no way. The friend just looks at him and says, you know these things. By getting the skeptic to agree to these super basic micro-level facts, he's quietly laying down this unbreakable foundation of cause and effect. It's a really gentle, methodical pace. He's not leaving any room for denial.
And the second that foundation is set, boom, he skills the whole thing up. He says, look, if a tiny needle or a single letter absolutely requires a creator, how in the world can this massive, perfectly functioning country, which represents our entire universe, exist without a ruler? It's a brilliant contrast. Think about it. If we happily apply the rule of design requires a designer to the loose change of the items in our pockets, it's logically completely inconsistent to just throw that rule out the window when we're looking at the staggering complexity of the whole cosmos.
What's really fascinating about this part of the source material is the vivid industrial imagery it uses to symbolize grand cosmic design. The reliable friend basically tells the skeptic, just look around. He points out trains arriving on the hour every hour, filling and emptying with these incredibly precious goods. He points to declarations posted everywhere, stamps and symbols left on every single object. Now, in the context of the allegory, these aren't literally trains, right? They're metaphors for the precise rhythmic systems of the universe. Think of the changing of the seasons, or the water cycle. It is this overwhelming, undeniable, macro-level evidence of order.
But the skeptic is still struggling. He sees all these symbols, sure, but he doesn't understand them. Here, the reliable friend draws a huge distinction between inability and capability. Just because the skeptical man can't personally read the language of these cosmic symbols, well, it doesn't mean the Grand Edict doesn't exist. The friend says, look, someone who actually knows the language can just read the Grand Edict to you. Your personal ignorance of how a system works, that isn't proof that the system lacks a creator. It really just means you might need a guide to help translate the signs for you.
Section 3. The skeptic's new objection. Now we hit a massive pivot in the story. Faced with this pretty insurmountable wall of logic about order and design, the stubborn man realizes he's losing the first battle. So what does he do? He totally changes his strategy. The debate evolves. He concedes the first point, saying, okay, let's say there is a ruler. But then he completely moves the goalposts. He asks, but what harm does my small theft do to his treasury? What does he actually lose? Besides, there's no prison here, no visible punishment. This is huge. We just went from an abstract debate about whether a creator exists right into a deeply relatable, practical question about personal accountability.
We can really think of this as the modern objection. It resonates so much today. It's that exact mindset of saying, okay, sure, maybe there's some underlying order to the universe, but then completely doubting that your personal, unseen actions have any real consequence. The skeptical man is essentially saying, hey, I did something wrong and lightning didn't strike me. The world kept spinning, so my actions don't actually matter. It's a profound existential doubt, and honestly, it echoes so loudly in our modern culture.
Section 4. Where is the real reckoning?
To tackle this deeply cynical objection, the reliable friend steps up again. He has to explain this glaring issue, the absence of immediate, visible justice in the world. So, he introduces a concept the text refers to as the maneuver area. The argument goes like this. This visible world we live in, it's just a training ground, a testing arena, a place of maneuvers. It is not the final courtroom. And that elegantly clears up the skeptic's confusion over delayed cosmic justice. If this world was the final destination, sure, every crime would be instantly punished, every good deed instantly rewarded. But since it's just a maneuver area, the lack of immediate punishment doesn't mean accountability is a myth. It just means the true reckoning happens somewhere else.
So the crucial point here is how the friend uses the skeptic's own weapon, logic, to lock in this concept of accountability. Let's walk through the loop. Step 1. We've already established that if an intricate order exists, like those metaphorical trains and stamps, there has to be a source, a ruler. Step 2. If there's a source that went to all the trouble of establishing such a flawless order, then the rules set by that source absolutely have to have meaning and consequence. I mean, think about it. A king who meticulously manages a vast empire isn't just going to shrug if his rules are broken, even if he decides to delay the trial. The very existence of the order guarantees eventual accountability.
Section 5. The invisible truth within us.
As we wrap up this explainer, we're going to transition away from these grand macrocosmic arguments about kings and universes and bring things right back down to a deeply personal internal level. To anchor this whole argument, the reliable friend references a foundational text from the Quran, chapter 6, verse 73. It is he who created the heavens and the earth in truth. Now, the absolutely key phrase there is in truth. The friend's entire point is that the universe wasn't created as some random joke or a chaotic accident. It was created with deliberate truth, purpose, and a really profound underlying reality. All that order we see on the outside, it's a reflection of this fundamental truth.
And that brings us to our final thought for today. Think about a time you chose to do the right thing when absolutely no one was watching. No applause, no visible reward at all. Where did that choice come from? If the stubborn man's skeptical world, sersema daman shupheji dunyasu, is the absolute truth, if there are no unseen realities, no ultimate meaning, no invisible rules, then that quiet moral choice literally makes no logical sense. The source material suggests that the very fact we possess an internal moral compass, this urge for truth even in total secret, is the ultimate reflection of that cosmic order residing right within ourselves. It challenges us to look way beyond what's merely visible. I'll leave you to ponder that one. Thank you so much for exploring this fascinating text with me today.